Like a lot of people, I have a lot of data and I need somewhere to put it. And so in this video, I'm going to show you where you can put it. I am going to build a network attached storage device, also known as a NAS. So this is the hard drive that I will be using. This is a Seagate IronWolf 12 terabyte 7200 NAS drive. Now what's really important to understand is that this is a spinning disk, and these days spinning disks are pretty rare because you don't buy them for performance, you buy them for storage. It's a 7200 RPM drive, so it's pretty slow. But for a NAS device, it doesn't matter. You don't need a lot of storage. I know some people are probably going to do like media streaming from their NAS and they may need more speed, but for me, I'm really just going to put data on it that I've had forever and quite frankly should probably get rid of. But it's just for archival data. So this is 12 terabytes, which is a crap load. But I will say if you're going to do one of these, go big or go home. You might as well just plan ahead. This hard drive I got on sale online at B&H Photo for $199 per drive. It's a lot of money, but it has great reviews. These things are really well known. These are the IronWolfs, as I mentioned before. And they're really wonderful hard drives if you don't need a terrible amount of performance. So I'm going to run these in a RAID 1, which is also known as a mirrored pair. What a RAID 1 does is it stripes the same data on this one as this one. So you have an exact mirrored pair of data on each drive. You have to do that because if one drive fails, you don't want to lose everything. So with a mirrored pair, you're going to have two drives. Okay. Now that we've talked about the hard drives, let's talk about the actual NAS. I have decided after research to go with this guy right here. This is a Synology disk station. I caught this thing for about 300 bucks at Micro Center. I also use the $25 gift card, $25 coupon that you can get on their website if you open an account. So after taxes and everything, I scored this thing for about $297. This is the DS224 Plus, as you can see here. Here are some specs. Quad-core processor, data protection. I think it has like 2 gigs of RAM, and you can add more if you want. This is a 2-bay NAS, and the reason that's important is because that means that I can put 2 hard drives in this thing. Pretty freaking cool. Let me go ahead and open this up. Here we go. So I did my research on this, and Synology really makes some of the best NAS chassis you can buy. I believe it's a Linux-based operating system, and you can do a lot of stuff with this thing. These are really, really awesome. I'm just going to take out the unit itself. I think this is probably the power supply over here. Let's take a look. We have the installation guide, which will probably never be used. Just kidding, I'm sure I'll use it because I've never done this before. All right, and then we have the power supply. It's got an external power supply right here, which is good or bad depending on your opinion. Personally, I don't care about external power supplies. It's a very efficient device. In fact, I'll put the running watts on the screen for you so you can see it. And part of that is because of the external power supply. It's really, really small, and this is a super efficient unit. Got the power cord, a bunch of screws here. All right, so my apologies if the camera is moving. Let's take a look at this thing. It does come with a really nice packaging, by the way. This is like some really nice fabric that they wrap this with. So the NAS here, being a 2-bay, means that it's really, really small. It's very very, very small actually, smaller than I thought. Which is really cool because you can put this in a closet or something just off to the side, wherever you want. And for me, that's 12 terabytes of storage on my network, which is absolutely awesome. Depending on your needs, you know, I think you should just plan for the future. Like I said earlier, if you build one of these, go big or go home. I actually originally was going to do the 8 terabyte drives, but I decided to go with these because I figured, I think the price difference was like 50 bucks a drive. And for an extra 4 terabytes, it's definitely worth it. All right, let's open one of these up and take a look. All right, there we go. Seagate IronWolf. That is a beautiful drive. I'm old school. I really love spinning discs because, you know, people think they're unreliable, but that's not really true. I collect computers and I have a particular machine of mine that's 30 years old and has the same spinning disc. It's an old Bigfoot drive, which is pretty amazing. It still works to this day after 30 years. So if you wanted to use this thing for a Plex server or to stream media from it, then you might want a faster hard drive than what I'm going to use here. Again, this is just a 7200 RPM drive. And this is perfect for me though, because I'm just putting archival data on this, like old photos and videos and software and stuff. So you got to really look into your research on this and make sure you plan this out to suit your needs. But for me, just to have my own private cloud in my house, this is absolutely perfect for me. And I believe another thing cool about this is not only can you just, you know, map all your devices to it to store data on it, but they also have an app that allows you to back up iOS devices and other stuff to your NAS inside of your own home, which is great. And hey, it's small, so God forbid your house catches on fire or something, just grab this thing. It's like a football. If you can get to it, grab the cat while you're at it and run out of the house and you're fine. Now, I'm kind of just joking. It's just one thing to consider is that having an on-site NAS in your house is that, you know, you don't have the benefits of cloud storage, but personally, I don't really want to pay for storage, so I'll just take the risk. All right, so this is the door to the Synology chassis. It just has these 4 rubber inserts that keep it on there with friction. And here's where the sausage is made right here. We have a status light. We have a LAN activity light here, 1 and 2, because there are 2 gigabit ports on the back of this. Disk 1 and disk 2, status lights as well. Front USB, which by the way, the USB on here I think is really slow. One thing to consider. But for me, I'll just be using it over network, so I don't really care. All right, so let's take a look at the back. We have this huge fan to help keep those hard drives cool. And we have our 2 LAN ports right here. Another USB port. This is where our power supply plugs in, obviously, and a lock port if you want to lock this thing. But I will tell you, I don't know what the point of locking it is if you can just push these buttons and take the drives out. I guess as long as your drives are encrypted or whatever, that's fine. That makes sense. Okay, all right, so let me show you how this works. You push the top of this, and you can pull out this insert like this. There we go. And then if you look in here, it's going to be hard to see on camera, but there is the SATA port down there for the hard drive. So the way that works is the hard drive is actually going to slide into here, meet up with that port, and that's how it works. So let me go ahead and put these hard drives in. All right, so I've got the hard drive in here, but what's really interesting is that if you look on the bottom, none of the screw holes line up to my drive. So I guess I'm not going to be able to secure this with screws. I don't know if I really care that much. But just to see on the side screws are fine. But those side screws are actually secured by this little plastic thing that has the 3 tabs right here where the screw holes are. So I don't know if that's a problem or not. I don't think so. I don't know if part of this is that Synology makes their own hard drives. This is not one of their hard drives, so maybe that's their way of punishing me for using a different drive. But I do not see any screw holes here that line up on the bottom, which is what seems to be something they tell you to do right here. Okay, cool. So I've got my 2 drives here caddied up. Let's just double check. You got the ports in there on the bottom. So it slides in like this, and then this port just meets up with the port on the inside of there. All right, so I've got this thing plugged into the power. Let's go ahead and plug it into the network here real quick and turn it on. See if the hard drives even work. It should actually. In fact, I do want to mention that Synology has a compatibility list for their hard drives. A lot of people criticize them for that. It is what it is. I looked on the list and those IronWolf drives are compatible with this unit. So make sure if you build one of these to look at that hard drive compatibility list and make sure that your drives work. All right, let's go ahead and turn this thing on and see what happens. I'll leave that on for now, actually. Hopefully that flashing light is normal. What I'm waiting for is to see if we get status lights here. I don't know if this is coming out on camera, but listen to those drives. All right, cool. So now we have the status lights here, which seem to indicate that everything is going well. I'll probably go ahead and post another video of me actually setting this thing up and walking through it a little more. This was just more of an unboxing video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you are interested in this kind of thing, please be sure to subscribe to my channel. Maybe even consider pressing the like button. Bye-bye.